You know what? Looking at some of these guns, we might need a tier lower than D, because that MDR is a Hey guys, Nightfall here, and today we're going to be ranking every primary weapon in XDefiant. And when you first look at this, or at least when I first looked at this, it felt like there were some missing, but there's not. There's only 21 guns in the game right now, including the new LVOAC and the new sniper rifle. So yeah. And so at the snap of a finger, we're going to add a brand new row, just like that. And we're going to call it trash because I already know exactly what I'm putting there. But before we start ranking these primary weapons, I want to run a little experiment with you guys. So up until now, I've been recording all of my videos on the microphone that I've had for the longest time. And as to not sway your decision, I'm not going to tell you which one's which, and I'm not going to tell you what each microphone is. If you want to take your guesses as what each microphone is down in the comments, feel free to do so. Basically, I'm going to throw a number up in the top corner of the screen. We're going to have a 1 and a 2, and at about halfway, we're going to switch over to the other microphone. And I want to know in the comments which one you think sounds better. I'm also going to take this moment to plug our new Discord. It's been growing pretty quickly, and we're definitely going to need mods soon. And I plan on spending part of the weekend going over the entire Discord, adding a bunch of channels, rules, roles, all kinds of stuff. We even have a clip submission channel where you can submit your clips, and I plan on making a whole video out of them, just reviewing them and seeing how much better you guys are at the game than I am. But without further ado, we're going to jump right on in, and we're just going to go in no particular order. These uploaded however they uploaded, and so we're going to start off with the AA-12 shotgun. Now, I don't use shotguns, but if I was going to use a shotgun, this would probably be the one. So taking both of those into account, I'm probably going to have to put this at B tier. If there was one in between, it would go in like B.5, whatever tier that is.
Huh?
Next up, we have the ACR, and this is the first gun I got gold. And honestly, I might be tempted to put this at S tier, just because it seems to be a meta weapon in ranked and everything. But because it's a meta weapon, and I hate meta anything, it goes down a tier. So we're going to put it in A. Then we have the AK-47. This is another gun that I got gold. And while it does kick like a mule, it's still a really good gun. But because it has a lot of recoil, I wouldn't say it's better than the ACR. So we're also going to put that at A. Next up is the L115, and if you haven't seen my previous video going over this gun, you should go check that out, because I have absolutely been falling in love with this one. So it's immediately going to go to S tier. Has to, no question about it. With that being said, we come to our next sniper already, the M44, and this one is like a miniature L115. It doesn't hit as hard, and it just doesn't feel as good. Since the L15 came in the game, it feels like the M44 has no place. I hardly ever see anyone use it, and if they are, they're probably only using it so they could level it up, so they can complete the camo grind on all their guns. So I'm going to have to put this in D tier. Next up is the LVOAC, and I want to put it at A tier so bad, but it just lacks damage. I just did a re-review on this not too long ago, and it was an alright gun, but it just felt like it was missing something. So for that, I'm going to have to put it at B tier. Up next, we have the M4, and this is a gun that I honestly don't think about. Sometimes I even forget it's in the game. And for that reason, I'm going to have to put it at C tier. Kind of felt like Shark Tank right there. For that reason, I'm out. The M4 is like the scam that comes on Shark Tank and tries to sell it like it's an M16, but it's really just a ripoff. And then Mr. Wonderful offers them some stupid royalty deal. Shout out to everyone who watches Shark Tank. Next up, we have the M16, and this is a gun that I want to use, but I just can't. And the reason I can't is because the bullets don't always register. It's a 3-round burst, and I need all 3 of those rounds to hit and actually do damage. The M16 has the fastest time to kill in the game if you're only counting headshots. It'll kill any faction in 3 headshots. That's how crazy it is. But if one of those bullets doesn't register, you're going to get caught with your pants down. And because of all that, I would put it at B tier, but because it's already been banned in quote unquote pro leagues, that means it's just that much better. So I'll give it A tier. Next up, we have the M60, and honestly, this is probably one of the most forgettable LMGs, given that we have 2 better ones, in my opinion. So I really don't have a lot to say about this one because I haven't really used it a whole lot. So I'm just going to throw it at C tier. Up next is the much better LMG, the M249, and this gun is straight out of Rainbow Six Siege, and if I remember correctly, this is the LMG that Capitao uses. So I'm very familiar with it, and it can mow down an entire enemy team, so we're going to have to put this at A tier. Next up is the M870, another gun that I'm familiar with from Rainbow Six Siege, and I don't know what it is. People kill me with this thing all the time, but anytime I try to use it, it just doesn't work, and I don't know what to do about that. So we're going to put it at C tier. Then we have the MP5, which I thought was going to be the best SMG in the game when I first started playing, and boy was I wrong. And that's not to say that it's a terrible gun by any means, but it just doesn't stack up against the other SMGs that we're about to go over. And because of that, I'm also going to put this one at C tier. And keeping it moving with the next gun, the MP7, but before we place that one, you may have noticed that the audio sounds a little bit different, and that's because I switched over to the other microphone. So be sure to let me know down in the comments which half of the video you prefer from the microphone perspective. But now that we have the MP7, this is going to follow the same logic as the ACR, and it would be S tier. And I did get this weapon gold, and I was using it for quite some time. But because it's meta and everybody's using it, I have to drop it down to A, just because it's annoying and you see it every game. The MK20 SSR is one of the marksman rifles, and I'm not a fan of any of the marksman rifles, but if I had to pick one over the other, this one would definitely be my choice. And so I'm going to put this one in B tier. And now we get up to my favorite weapon, and the weapon I use in almost every game that I play, the only weapon that I currently have Prisma skin unlocked for, the P90. So I don't think I need to explain anymore. This gun has gotten me my personal best kills in one game with 69. So of course it's going to go to S tier. It has to. I mean, where else are you going to put it? With headshots only, the time to kill on my P90 is 0.22. Which is insanely fast. And yes, I use a heavy barrel on it and not a rapid fire. I know I'll probably catch some heat for that in the comments. I already did in the last video, and I tried to explain to a few different people that for whatever reason, the rapid fire barrel instead of the heavy barrel on this gun and how I have it built actually makes the time to kill slower. So I'm sticking with the heavy barrel. The TAC-50 is the sniper that everybody wanted to use until the L115 came out. And now nobody touches this thing. Like hardly ever. I hardly ever see it in any game that I play. And it wants to be the L115 so bad, but it just can't match. So for that, we're going to put it in B tier. Right in between the L115 and the M44 snipers. When you have the L115, why would you use the TAC-50? It's still one-shotting to the body, and it's more mobile. Plus the ADS speed on that thing with some of the attachments is crazy. Up next, we have our last LMG on the list, and that is the RPK-74. And again, this is an LMG that I hardly ever use, but I see it used a lot and I get killed by it a lot. So I think I have a fair amount of experience on the opposite side of this, enough to know that I can put this confidently at B tier without getting anybody upset at me. Then we have the Vector 45 ACP, and this is probably one of the fastest shooting SMGs. It's not a bad gun, so I'm actually going to put it at A tier because I think it's on par with the MP7. I think the MP7 is just broken right now. Come time to nerf the MP7, a lot of people are going to switch up to the Vector. Mark my words. Then we have the SVD. This is the other marksman rifle I was talking about. And this thing is just awful. Like it's D tier material, and that's being generous. There's no redeeming quality about this weapon, and it's just there to fill up a spot and make it seem like the MK20 isn't the only DMR in the game. What? Then we have the double barrel shotgun, and this thing is honestly a pain in the ass. If you load up a game and play arena, you can guarantee that half the enemy team is going to be rocking a double barrel shotgun. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'm going to try to be unbiased because I do get killed by this thing more often than I'd like to admit. In close range combat, it is a god tier weapon, but I'm going to have to drop it at A tier. And yes, S tier is only reserved for my favorite weapons. And then you'll probably notice that I've been skipping the MDR, and I'm not crazy. I've been skipping it on purpose because this gun doesn't even deserve to go on this tier list. Honestly, I made the trash tier at the start of this video specifically for the MDR, but trash is too good for this gun. I would rather shoot spitballs out of an uncrustable wrapper that I found in the trash can than pick up this gun. That's how bad it is. Does it shoot fast? Yes. Does it do any damage to anything? No. Zero reason why this gun should even still be in the game. If any of the devs are watching this video at any point in time, please just delete it. Accidentally delete the source code for it. Do something, because it's the worst gun in the game, and you cannot convince me otherwise. You show me a clip where somebody's dropping more than 60 kills in a game with this weapon, then maybe I'll consider putting it on this tier list. Until then, it stays right where it's at, under the trash tier, not even on the tier list. That's how bad it is. But this is my final tier list. You don't have to agree with it. It doesn't have to be right. And if I'm being honest, anything below B tier, I'll probably never, ever even get gold, let alone Prisma. So there you have it. If you made it this far in the video, comment the word microphone as a shout out for our new mic test that we got going on here. And remember, don't forget to comment either 1 or 2 down below in the comments so you can let me know which half of the video sounds better. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. And if you enjoyed the content, make sure to check out some of my other videos. And if you like what you see, consider subscribing. And I'll catch you in the next video.